Hey everybody, have you considered starting a podcast? We here at Screwball highly recommend Podbean for getting your podcast out to a larger audience. Podbean has given us the ability to easily bring you Screwball each and every week on all of your favorite podcast services. Use the link podbean.com/screwball to sign up and save up to 35% annually. You can also use the link podbean.com/pro/screwball to sign up for a business subscription. Happy podcasting. Hey everybody, welcome back to Screwball, a baseball podcast, your home for everything baseball. I'm your host Mike Lepre, here with my co-host Frank White.
Hey, how's it going?
This is episode 89 of Screwball, and the last regular weekly episode of Screwball for the 2021 year and 2021 season. After this episode, we are going to shift into our off-season mode, in which we record every other week. So we will be off next week, just at the top of the show. As a reminder. But this episode, we're going to center around just that, the offseason. Just a general offseason outlook, where free agents we think are going to go. We got a list of Hall of Fame eligibles for first-year Hall of Fame ballot. We also have people leaving the Hall of Fame ballot. And just general updates. We're going to give what we think is going to happen in the offseason, where we think teams can go, and things of that matter. So... with that, we do have some news, as you know, the offseason is always filled with news regardless. Even right up to the minute we were recording this, we were getting updates on signings and stuff. So I'll let Frank handle the news, as he usually does in the last few weeks here. And he's also going to take lead on the free agents we have here, because he had a much bigger list than I prepared for. So whatever news we thought was... it was relevant to this week. I'll let Frank take that over.
Yeah, we start off with Sandy Alcantara, expected extension with the Marlins, 5 years. It's a pretty good deal. That's actually a really good deal. The money-wise, what it was looking at, looks like it's a really good deal for the Marlins, and not a bad deal for the player himself. We also have the Mets finally get their GM, Billy Lepre, former Yankee assistant GM, went to the Angels. So that's good. It's actually probably the best guy they could have got, even though they got turned down by 100 people. That probably was the best one they could have got. And what this can lead to, Lepre was with the Yankees. He was a big fan of Showalter. It'd be a great move for the Mets to get Showalter.
Sure.
Also, Lepre was with the Angels when Allsmith was there, Brad Allsmith. So that could be their next move, a manager, either Showalter or Allsmith. To kind of stick with the Mets, Noah Syndergaard leaves, went to the Angels. 1 year, I think it was $21 million. Yeah. It's a huge deal for him. Angels need pitching. Give it a shot. Why not? Stick with the Angels now. Tyler Wade traded from the Yankees to the Angels for cash considerations or a player to be named later, so pretty much nothing. We also have Clint Frazier, designated for assignment, which is kind of somewhat surprising. Not really surprising by his performance and his health, but surprising that he was a number one prospect who really hasn't got no time in the majors, and he got designated for assignment. We also have Pirates sign Jose Quintana. And just recently, like Mike said, we had news coming in. Aaron Loop to the Angels, and Anthony DeSclafani to stay with the Giants.
Yep.
So there's some breaking news. And Alex Wood expected to sign back with the Giants as well. So that's kind of our up-to-date news, which a lot of these players you kind of expect, as we mentioned last week, to sign because of the lockout possible. Manfred brought that up. He said the possibility of a lockout they think could help avoid a lockout, which obviously that makes sense. It's like, hey, no money. No sport. Right. So let's get a deal done. So it wasn't brain surgery. He brought that up. But that is good news that he actually brought that up, that they don't want to get a lockout. Because sometimes they're like, okay, it's going to take a lockout to get this, but they're trying to avoid that, which is kind of good. Some other news I've seen recently, the A's put a bid in to buy land in Las Vegas. Okay. Before MLB really gave them permission to relocate fully. And someone, I believe somewhere... there was some deal they offered them that if they moved there, they'd give them the land for free in Vegas. Okay. So, I don't know. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on out in Oakland with the A's.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about that. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, so other than that, I mean, that was pretty much our news segment, We just wanted to kind of get into some of our free agents and our off-season or outlook. That's the whole point of the episode here. And to start, I think we start with some of the bigger name free agents we have here. And the first one is Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
Obviously, probably the top shortstop here, probably a top free agent. What are we looking at? Personally, I think he goes to Detroit. There's obviously Detroit's willing to spend. Detroit's on the verge of being good. They got some young pitchers, so I think he goes to Detroit. And he also has connection with A.J. Hinch, I don't think that's a great spot for him for his personal offensive stats at the big stadium, but going from Houston to Detroit is quite a jump, but, not a bad landing spot.
No. No, you're right, though, about the offensive stats there, because you could see, you would think you'd see a drop in home runs, maybe a tick up in average or something. He's got a lot more land out in the gaps. But that's where I think he's going to, is the Tigers. I was of the mind when the offseason first started about all the rumors surrounding the Yankees. I thought it was a really big possibility that he goes to the Yankees. But as time has gone on and the start of the dominoes have started to fall and more rumors come out, I think that he's going to go to the Tigers. It just makes sense. Tigers are going to have the money. They have the need. They are kind of an up-and-coming team, and it makes sense to go get a guy. He's 26, 27, so go get kind of your guy and then build from there. So I think it makes all the sense for the Tigers to sign him. It's clear the Astros aren't going to get him back because what he felt was just a slap in the face of the deal. So I think that the Tigers, I just think that they make the most sense.
Yeah, and the moves they expect to make, it kind of gets that feeling of the Tigers when they got Miggy. Where it's like, okay, let's push this rebuild up a couple of years. Let's sign a couple big guys here, and let's get contending right now. So that's what it seems like what the Tigers are doing, which is good.
Right.
Next free agent here, Corey Seager. I expect him to go to the Yankees. I know there's rumors about the Yankees not being in on shortstops. They're in on a shortstop. I think they're just going to kind of wait around, see what the price is. Maybe the price falls a bit. They jump in. Here you go. Come on. That's what they're going to do. I think Corey Seager goes to the Yankees. Left-handed shortstop. Also has some versatility. But I think he goes to the Yankees. I think that's pretty much makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that he either goes to the Yankees or back to the Dodgers, because there was a thing that came out today that said the Dodgers are considering him, because they do have a backup plan, so they're not they're not living and dying by Corey Seager. But it did sound to me like they were at least like going to kick the tires and see what they could do with him. But I think that it just makes the most sense for the Yankees. Lefty doesn't come with the baggage of previous years like Carlos Correa and kind of the little feud the Yankees and the Astros had there. So I think Corey Seager makes the most sense for the Yankees. That's kind of where I see him going. But Correa and Seager are kind of one and the same in the way of like you really only worry about their injuries. So is that something the Yankees look at really, or really any team sign them is like, well, yeah, they're talented. They're both super talented.
I think that's why maybe Seager's a little bit easier because he's not going to demand as much money.
Yeah.
So if something goes wrong, it's a little easier.
Yeah, right.
They get to the next one. We got Chris Bryant, third base, outfield utility, kind of wherever you want to play him. I think this is where the Mets go in. The Mets are expected to spend money per the new owner. So I think this is where Chris Bryant goes. Goes to the Mets where he can play third and play outfield, and he can kind of jump around. Stays in the National League, and I think that's where he goes. And I think that's a pretty good fit for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's only really two teams I could see realistically, Chris Bryant going to is the Mets and back to the Giants. I could see the Giants trying to get him, and the weird thing with the Giants, they're in a weird spot. Like, do you try to do something like you had this last season? Do you really take that chance, or do you just kind of say, well, thanks, Bryant, you were here for half a year, we tried, but it didn't really work out? But
I think they make more of good deals, but not too much real long term.
Right.
And they kind of still have maybe a couple years where they have some of these guys yet. I don't think they're going to make too many long term investments.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why maybe Bryant doesn't go to the Giants.
Right. I think that primarily where I'd say to go, actually the smartest place, if the Mets were smart, they'd sign Chris Bryant. It just makes a lot of sense for them, makes a lot of sense for him, especially because the alternative in a lot of rumors for the Mets seems to be Javier Baez, because you got to pay one of them kind of thing. And if I'm the Mets, I'd rather have Chris Bryant than Javier Baez. So those kind of the two places I could see him re-signing, but I think that the Mets are just a better marriage there. I think that that's probably where he fits better.
Yeah, I think so too. The next one we have is Max Scherzer. Seen some rumors with him with the Dodgers. Me personally, I think he goes to the Cardinals. From St. Louis, or from the St. Louis area. Cardinals are looking for at least one pitcher, at least one starting pitcher, maybe some bullpen help. He goes there to head off a rotation with Jack Flaherty, and then Wainwright and Scherzer. And then you got some young guys coming up. Matt Liberatore, one of the prospects. Got Dakota Hudson. I think they have Dante Ponce de Leon still. I think that'd give them a 3-headed monster, with Wainwright being more a 3-man, which should be a really good 3-man the way he's been pitching. Right now he's kind of almost your ace, but really a 2-man, and he's a good 2-man. Don't get me wrong, the way he's been pitching, he's been great.
Yeah.
But can you really expect that year to continue like that? I don't know. Scherzer becomes your 1 or 2-man. I'll say he becomes your 1. Now Flaherty's a 2-man. Flaherty's a great 2-man. That would push Wainwright to 3. Wainwright's a great 3-man.
Right.
So it just sets the rotation up. So I feel like Scherzer goes to the Cardinals and really gives them deep postseason run.
Yeah, that's talk about a deal for the Cardinals there. That'd be great for them, because then you really have talk about a 3-headed monster, with him, Wainwright, and Flaherty. But I think Scherzer overall, I think he stays with the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers will have no problem paying him, and I think that he had a lot of goodwill with the Dodgers in his time there. I think that he definitely performed out with them. So he's 37, 38. He's getting up there, so it's going to be short term. So Dodgers, I'm sure, wouldn't mind shelling out a bunch of money for 2 years or something like that. I don't know what he's looking for. I don't really even know where his market is right now. But I just think he'll end up staying, maybe like kind of similar to Verlander type thing, with a 1 year and an option, or 2 years and an option, or something like that. But I just think he stays with the Dodgers. I think that, and I might be just speaking preliminarily here, but I don't know the situation with Trevor Bauer right now. So it might be you have more assurance if you sign Scherzer back. You're like, you have Scherzer and Walker Buehler, and then you figure it out with Kershaw and whatever, Yeah.
Well, Bauer is opting in for sure.
Right. So he had a player option.
So you're going to spend all that money.
Right.
And I don't think he's ever going to pitch for the Dodgers again. So.
And that's.
You got to take that into effect as well.
That's why I kind of think Scherzer stays, is because he's just more of a lock than you kind of want. At least 2 guys there. You're like, okay.
Yeah. So next guy we got is Trevor Story. Where's the market with him? He's kind of fallen off. Some injuries. Also playing in Colorado. They love to use that excuse. I think he goes to the Texas Rangers. I believe that's his local team. I believe he still lives only 20, 30 minutes away from the Ranger Stadium. So I think he goes to the Rangers. Helps them maybe push their rebuild or push their retooling kind of up a little bit. You get a guy like that. So I think he goes to the Rangers, and the Rangers try pushing for a division that's heading the wrong way. With the Astros, window closing, A's pretty much never know what you're going to get, but they're kind of tearing it down. Mariners on the upswing, Angels kind of hanging around. You don't know where they're going to be, so Rangers feel like they could be swing in there and be the Mariners and Rangers division for the years to come.
Right. Yeah. That's actually not really much different than what I had. I think he ends up going there because it makes sense for him. Like you said, it's kind of like a close to home type thing. They definitely have the room. They definitely have the salary room. Stuff like that.
New stadium.
So yeah. So it kind of I don't know if it's maybe the best deal for him, because he could definitely go to a more contending team, but he is still on the younger side. So say he signs a relatively long-term deal and stays there, he definitely bring that team kind of back to its glory it was in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
So I think that's a smart move for him. That's kind of where I don't really know where his market is. I don't really have that much too much to predict on him, but that's kind of where the preliminary things I've seen is kind of makes the most sense.
Yeah. Next, Marcus Semien. I believe he goes to the Dodgers. Trey Turner goes back to short. Semien goes to second. There you go. Cheaper than Seager. Able to play second. You put Turner back in his primary position. You put Semien pretty much at his new primary position, and that takes up some of what you lost with Seager. You get Semien. So I think that's what the Dodgers do. It saves them money to maybe use somewhere else. So I think Semien goes to the Dodgers. I think that's where I feel it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm a little in between Semien. I kind of was thinking a few different things. I could see him re-signing with the Blue Jays. I don't think that's the most realistic option. I could see it though. Dodgers definitely makes sense. If you lose on Seager, you move Trey Turner to short, sign Marcus Semien. It's a match made in heaven, kind of, and you probably save money. I don't know. Again, he was a MVP with 42 home runs at the second base position. It's pretty good. So he should command money, but like you said, probably saves money.
Not going to command nowhere near the money as those top 3-4 shortstops.
No, so you like what you get out of Marcus Semien. The other a dark horse pick, a lesser team like the Mariners. I could see if they want to go in on it. some dark horse team like that where they're trying to build. You could even see like a Rangers, like we said with with Trevor Story. I'm not really sure exactly where Marcus Semien goes, but there's a lot of options. So I'm not going to commit to anything there. But I think that I like what you said with the Dodgers. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. There's some other teams for Simeon for sure. The way I kind of have my predictions here for the picks all kind of tie into each other. This guy goes here, then this guy has to go here. That's kind of how I did it here.
Right.
Because otherwise, I think the Yankees could be a match too.
Shortstop,
but Simeon save some money, But I don't want to get into all those. So
well, that's true. Yeah, I guess he could kind of flip flop positions again. You really could put him anywhere up the middle.
Yeah, exactly. So next player, Robbie Ray, stays at the Blue Jays. Won a Cy Young. They got his career back on track. Seemed to like the AL East. If the Blue Jays aren't going to sign Simeon, they got the money to sign Robbie Ray. Obviously, they just signed Jose Barrios to a long extension as well. So I think the Blue Jays have offense. I think their offense they feel more comfortable in. So let's re-up the pitching. That's why they signed Robbie Ray to keep him there. He kind of feels comfortable with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's where I see him going too. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of teams that could use some pitching. You could even see the Dodgers take a flyer on him and say, hey, you've been in the NL before. You weren't quite as successful in the NL as you were, with the Blue Jays. But we got the money, and if you want to win, come over here. So the Dodgers are a landing spot, for a lot of these guys. But I think the Blue Jays make a lot of sense, and the Blue Jays have a need for that pitching. So if they're going to shell out some money, Robbie Ray would be the guy to throw it at.
Yeah, for sure. The next guy, possibly the best free agent deal that could be made here, Starling Marte. And where do I think he goes? Goes to the Phillies.
Okay.
Now you put him at the top of that lineup, Gene Segura, Bryce Harper, you get Rhys Hoskins back, you get Alec Bohm, JT Realmuto.
Yeah.
Now you're talking, wow, we got something.
Mm-hmm.
You get him and Harper going back to back. Gene Segura's a base hit guy, and Hoskins can hit, and Bowen's supposed to come back, and he had a little bit of a down offensive year. Realmuto could be anywhere. That really gives them something. It helps their defense, helps their base stealing. I don't know. I feel really comfortable with him going to Philly. Philly wants to spend some money. I think that really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. The team actually I saw Starling Marte going to that makes a lot of sense, especially because you stay within the division is the Angels. You don't listen. You got Trout, but you have to kind of face facts where it's like, well, maybe how many games are we getting out of Trout? You don't love. I don't know how they're feeling about Justin Upton at the moment. What do you have that guy out there? Was it Brandon Marsh? Is a top prospect. So you like that? You like Joe Adell out there as a top prospect. But I think that having Starling Marte really shores up a spot in your outfield because you have a lot of, as the Angels, you have a lot of question marks.
Well, you can save legs on Trout too by moving him to the left or right and DHing him.
Right. So and I think the Angels have shown already some activity. I think if it makes sense because they stay in the division. And I just see, like I said, you kind of get a sure thing in the out because you have Trout. He's the best, ability-wise, the best player in the game. Just be honest when he's on the field. But you have to face facts in the fact of he's always injured, So Justin Upton, again, I like Justin Upton. We do. But he hasn't been the guy. And right field's been kind of the ever-revolving right field with Cole Calhoun leaving. So I think you shore up a spot in the outfield with Starling Marte, and I think with the money that they can and do have, I think that it makes sense for them.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad spot. It would be an underdog spot or a sleeper spot there for sure. I just think the Angels go more pitching. That's their worry than offense.
Oh,
offense we'll figure it out. We had guys had down years hurt, Rendon and stuff like that. We'll be fine. Pitching we need.
Right.
Kind of with the Padres over all these years. We're like, we need pitching.
That's something the Angels badly need.
Yeah. Next player here, Nick Castellanos. I got him going to Miami. Miami needs some money. I mean, Miami's got the money. They need some offense. That's offense. His defense has gotten better. He's used to a big ballpark in the outfield. He's played at Wrigley for half a year. He played at Detroit. I mean, come on, he knows big ballparks.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Miami. He's from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Goes back to Miami with this pitching. You had someone like this. Another young guy comes up. Jazz Chisholm's already up. This offense gets rolling with that pitching in a somewhat open division. Makes a lot of sense to me. Nick Castellanos to the Marlins.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't even think of them. I had actually in mind what my mind was Nick Castellanos was the Tigers.
No, I don't think so.
I think what would be interesting is to see him go back when they're ready to go.
I don't think so. He didn't. He I think wanted out of Detroit a lot longer, or a little sooner than he got.
I just thought it'd be interesting if that all happened, especially Correa coming back. You know what I mean? But actually, what I think a more realistic spot for him is, and you gave me the idea just now, kind of on the fly, is the Phillies. Say they don't get Marte, and they get him. You kind of.
The only issue you come with that is who plays center.
Yeah, well, yeah,
You put
because
Harper there, which I don't know if you like to do that.
you could, but you like him in right, and then
Or
Castellanos
like
in right.
Yeah, and then Castellanos in left. So
Mhm.
that would be great. You put him and Harper. I mean, yeah, it would be
That's
great.
kind of your corner
If
outfielders.
he went back to Detroit, obviously knows it there. I just don't know. That's a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
He can go anywhere. The wild card, Castellanos. Because
I don't even
he can just tap
really-
his head and be like, I'm going to the White Sox or something. Just go nuts and just do whatever he wants.
He almost seems like the forgotten free agent of how really good this guy is, and it's almost like no one talks about him. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he's a free agent. Like,
Yeah, so I think Miami, though. I think he sneaks in because I'm going to go home. I'm going to help build this team. A little offense. We got the pitching. Sending Alcantara on the fellas.
yeah, I like that one a lot.
That'd be a good deal for them.
Yeah.
Next, Raciel Iglesias.
Mm.
Again, where does he go? Philly. Philly's buying right now. Harper just won an MVP. Zach Wheeler almost won Cy Young. Let's go. They're saying Philly fans. I know, and you guys probably think I'm a Philly fan by all this stuff. Just no, Philly. You're ready to go. This rebuild you had didn't take long. You're all expected to go. None of it worked. Let's go. Get Iglesias. Shore up that bullpen,
Right.
and you get Marte. Shore up that outfield. All of a sudden, we're kind of here. Ready to roll in an open NL West, NL East. So I think Iglesias goes to the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, that's another good one. I mean, the Phillies, if they really make these moves, it'd be fantastic
They're
for
a
them.
powerhouse. They make those two moves.
Oh, yeah, because they're already really, I mean, you look at that roster, they're already pretty good.
A little
even though,
pitching away from really being successful and consistent offense.
Yeah.
Marte's consistent. Iglesias not so consistent in the bullpen, but he's got the stuff.
oh, yeah. I think that he could really stay with the Angels. I think there's big potential there. I think that makes a lot of sense for the Angels. I don't know if it makes the most sense for him because he can really go anywhere. But if the Angels are smart, you shore up your closer for the most part. He's not a sure thing, but in a market where, really in the whole MLB, where there's not a lot of like multi-year closers that you can bank on pretty much. He's kind of one of them. So I think the Angels make sense, but he's actually one that I think is a little bit, like you said with Castellanos, a little bit of a wild card. Yeah. I could see a lot of there's any team could use a guy like Raisel Iglesias. It's just who's going to put out the money, because I'm sure he's got a relatively higher asking price. So
yeah, he's a reliever. He's the reliever on the market essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that him going there, or even like you said, the Phillies, it's just a good idea. I didn't even think of the Phillies in a lot of these, so yeah. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, the next couple of guys here, I think are a little, good moves for these teams. I think it's maybe a little, not too much getting brought up right now. Kevin Gausman goes to the Angels. I think the Angels overpay a little bit for Gausman, for a guy coming off of kind of a 1-year shot at it. But I think the Angels say, okay, here's a little extra money like Syndergaard. Here's some extra money. Please come pitch here. Help us out. So I think he goes to the Angels on the fact that they're going to give him a little extra money just to come there, like Syndergaard.
Right. I actually had Gausman going to, believe it or not, the Blue Jays. I thought there would be a good idea for a landing spot for him, because then you have, say sign Robbie Ray back, you're probably putting a lot of your money into that, a lot of your stock into that. Say you get him back and you have Ryu, then you have Gausman, who you like, who is familiar with the AL East, had some kind of mixed success with the AL East.
That's the idea. I don't know if he wants to go back to the AL East.
Yeah, he had mixed success there, because when he was first starting, he actually had success. He did pretty well. Then he blew up. That's kind of where his career kind of came into question. But I do think with the revitalized Blue Jay team, with that young team, really, I think that it would be smart for the Blue Jays to go after maybe a guy like that, because you go get Robbie Ray, you get your guy, but then you kind of go a little bit more mid-market and try to find something a little more affordable that you could shore up a 3-guy or a 4-guy. And I think that the Blue Jays make a lot of sense for him.
Yeah, I can't go wrong there. Next guy, we have Javier Baez and his ruckus he does. Where's he go? Boston.
I hope.
He'll go play second base for them. He can play short when Bogarts needs a day off. You can play third when Devers needs a day off. He goes to Boston. They need a second baseman. I don't know. Him booing fans, and he's in Boston, and just increase that offense. That's what Boston wants. I feel like some reason he would fit right in with Boston, with Bogarts and Devers, and he'd love it.
Mm.
So I think he goes to Boston. Boston, that's their deal. That's their big money maker.
Yeah, I mean, the thing here is, if I know the Mets, I think they get him back. I don't think that should happen. Nor do I even realistically think it happened. But there's just that little part of me that's like, he's going back to the Mets.
Yeah.
But I also think, and we keep saying him. I didn't think we'd say him this much, but maybe the Phillies, because Didi didn't have an amazing time there. So you got some vacant. You got a vacant spot up the middle because you got Gene Segura at second, right? So you can think about the Phillies if you didn't love Didi and you want a little bit more stardom, because think about Harper and him on the same team. But I think I just got this sneaking suspicion he's going back to the Mets. And I already said that Chris Bryant, if it was smart, would go back to the Mets. But I also kind of could see him signing back.
Yeah.
So I think that if the Mets miss the boat on Bryant, I think Baez is their next, because he's been there already. It might be like I'll give him another shot. Maybe he'll boo the fans again. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. I don't even know where Baez goes, because he doesn't seem as desirable as he once was. So
they say a lot of teams are interested in him, but
I don't know why.
The next guy I got Marcus Stroman. They go hand in hand. And funny I say that because they go hand in hand. I got Marcus Stroman going to Boston. You want to know why?
Oh.
He didn't like his Toronto leave. He doesn't like the Yankees. Why not go to the AL East? Is it a great move for him? No. He didn't pitch great in the AL East to begin with, and pitching Boston for a guy like that doesn't make much sense. I know he's somewhat of a sinker ball pitcher. Sinker ball pitchers get the sinker up 1 centimeter. It's a lot of home runs, and you're playing at a ballpark that little kids should play at. Why not? It doesn't make much sense. But Boston needs pitching. He goes there. He goes with Baez combo. Boom. That's Boston's moves. We got a pitcher. We got a offensive help at a position we desperately need. Since Pedroia. I mean that's. I guess for me, I think that's almost like a dream for Boston to get those two guys.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think of Boston really to really start going in on. Well, it's not like you're really breaking the bank with him, but that makes a lot of sense.
And you have Sale, the lefty. Now you got a righty pitcher. You had Rodriguez. You had Sale. Yeah, there was another lefty out there. Now you have a righty. I feel like it makes a little bit of sense for them.
Yeah, I actually see him going, believe it or not, to the Mariners. I think that, first of all, I'd like to say that Marcus Stroman has a bit of an ego, to put it lightly.
Yeah.
And I think that if he goes to the Mariners, where I also kind of see Simeon going, I think that a team that's kind of on the come up here, and they really are, like, even though they a little bit early last season, they really are starting to. They got some prospects coming up, and they got some moving and grooving going on. I
just feel Stroman needs to be in more of a big market.
But I think that the reason I think he might go to the Mariners is because he can almost be the guy there, or be one of the main guys there. And I think for him, I think that makes sense for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think that
he fits like a Mets or a.
I think he fits Boston. He doesn't have to be the number one guy. He can be stuck behind Sale, who doesn't say much. But you go to Seattle, you're the number one guy, and you're living up to King Felix.
That's true. Yeah.
Boston, you can't live up to the guys they've had.
And he hates the Yankees. So.
And he doesn't like Toronto.
Yeah. So.
I think that's what happens. But that's not a bad. Mariners would be a smart move too. Next guy played for Boston. Schwarber. Where does he go? Colorado. Why not 1 year Colorado explode your stats?
Yeah, he sure would.
Possibly a DH coming. He could play some first with CJ Cron. They signed him to an extension. It worked out for CJ Cron. He could be against righties. He plays a little bit of first base. He could play a little outfield. He's going to DH with the DH coming most likely. Why not go to Colorado for a 1 year, maybe 2 year deal and explode your stats and go nuts out there in Colorado? And in Colorado, why wouldn't you sign him? Maybe trade him. Gets a little help the rebuild.
Yeah. That makes sense, but I think that Schwarber, it's not exciting, but I think he stays with the Red Sox. I just think that even when they got him, I was like, that's a Red Sox player. It's like he just fits that team. He fits that aura, that vibe really well. I don't know what it is, but I think that all in all, I just think he fits that team. They like him there, and I just see him staying. And he can play first now, so.
Yeah. Right,
so I think he just stays.
Yeah. Next couple guys here, Carlos Rodon. I think he's not going to get the top money that some of these other starters are going to get. I think he goes to the Astros. I think it has to fill some of the pitching needs that they need there. But I think he goes to the Astros. I think the Yankees could possibly be in the mix as well. But I think the Astros makes a lot of sense. They're trying to keep that window open, and why not go get a younger starting pitcher?
Yeah, I think he remains a big option for the Yankees as just a little bit of a shore up in that rotation. I think that another team that we mentioned a lot here, the Angels, make sense as a landing spot. You go get a guy like that. I don't know where the White Sox are with all this, but I could see him re-signing. I don't know where the connection. Like I don't know if the White Sox are really loving him or vice versa. If there's a mutual interest there, but I think that overall, I don't know why I just see him as a White Sox. It's almost,
makes sense.
you know what I mean? Like it makes sense for him, makes sense for them, and it's almost like you can't see a player in like a different uniform. He kind of fits that for me, like that mold. So I just kind of, but there's places you can go.
Yeah,
you know.
sure. And it's funny you said that because the next guy I got here is Clayton Kershaw. Stays at Dodgers. Don't ask. That's it. That's where he goes.
That's where I don't have any objection there.
And that's why I think Scherzer doesn't stay there. It's like we're going to give Kershaw money because he's a Dodger.
Right.
We'll rather lose Scherzer to keep our Dodger.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's fine. That's fine. He's done so much for you, so it's fine.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think they maintain both. But I think Kershaw is pretty much a lock.
Yeah. I think he goes back to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Leading to Chris Taylor. Where does he go? Seattle.
There you go.
That's the move Seattle needs to make.
Okay.
Versatile guy. Could play anywhere. You could play him at third to fill the Kyle Seager vote. You can play him at second. You play him at short. You play him in the outfield. He could go anywhere. Championship winning player. Big in big time moments. You put him with Mitch Haniger. Got another guy seems to be big in big moments. Now you can kind of just whenever you need him. Kyle Lewis is back. He doesn't have to play outfield. He can play wherever. He kind of stays in that versatility role. Look what Kike Hernandez did with Boston. That's what Chris Taylor could do there. Chris Taylor also, I believe, played with Seattle.
Oh, okay.
That's where he came
I
up.
think he did. Yeah.
So this would be smart for him to kind of go back and be like, look what I could do now. Let's go. That'd be a good move for Seattle to really give someone who can do anything they want.
Right. So see, there were two things I was kind of throwing around in my head with Chris Taylor. One, because I actually saw the rumor. I don't know how much sense it made, but the Red Sox, I can see them trying to get him because he's like you even said, like Kike Hernandez kind of fits that utility guy role. The Red Sox kind of like that, like scrappy vibe that he gives off. But I also see in Simeon's absence the Blue Jays possibly trying to go get him. I think that you'd fill right in at second in his absence, and really, I mean, he could play anywhere. So guys need days off. He plays the outfield or whatever. So I think that I think that either of those AL East teams make sense. And the Red Sox I didn't even think about until I saw. I can't recall who tweeted it, but I saw that. I was like, oh, that seems like a Red Sox player. You know, so I could see either of those. Him kind of living in the AL East, I think makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that. I just think Seattle.
Yeah,
that'd be a smart move for them.
That would be.
That would just
be
give
smart.
them versatility everywhere they want. Kind of like Ty France they have now. Mitch Haniger, that would be a smart move.
Right.
It's got that good feeling where it's good for them. So next guy, Anthony Rizzo. Yankees are a possibility. That's not why I have him. Believe it or not, I have him going to Tampa Bay.
Oh my God, that's a good one.
Why not go to Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the Yankees, you're going to go possibly do some other moves at first base. That's fine. I'll stay in the AL East, play against you. Tampa Bay, why not spend a little bit of money? They're going to trade possibility is another thing I was going to bring up, but the possibility, Kevin Kiermaier, they're trying to trade him away, save that money. You take the Kiermaier money, give a little bit to Rizzo. Rizzo's not going to take that much money. Veteran, postseason guy, lefty bat, put him right there at Tampa Bay. Feel like he fits right in, right?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Doesn't strike out a bunch. He hits home runs. He plays good defense. I feel like he fits right in there.
Yeah.
And that kind of gives them that offensive power they need.
Yeah, there's a lot of actually, there's not a whole heck of a lot of landing spots for him. I think that if the Yankees don't get Matt Olson, he comes back. I think that's pretty much those are your two options as Yankees. Yeah. Is the Matt Olson asking price too high? Okay, we'll go get Rizzo or vice versa. I don't really know where Rizzo goes. I think that the chips have to fall with the Yankees first with Olson, because like I said, I think those are your two options as Brian Cashman. But I'm not really sure where else he could go. You could see. I don't even know. I like that though with the Rays. That just seems like such a Rays move.
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, that's why I think he ends up going Tampa Bay. I think it just makes.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I can't really think of too many spots of Rizzo. I just wrote Yankees because it's like Olson, or because Rizzo also seemed to like his time there.
Well, yeah, that's where he wants to be. I think.
Yeah, so that's right. Like I said, I'm not really sure, but if Olson don't come through, there's Rizzo.
Yeah, next couple guys here. not huge, believe it or not. But Nelson Cruz, where's he go? Texas. Why not bring back a veteran? The guy who's been there, helped you win, kind of turn that veteran leadership. Why not? Just bring back him, who opened the new stadium kind of with. I think that is a good move for him. I think he goes back to Texas, and I think that's just how it goes.
He goes to the Cardinals. Could you imagine?
Oh my goodness! No.
I was trying to think a little outside the box with Nelson Cruz because I was like, well, maybe he could be like the first big name DH in the NL if the DH does come through.
Colorado.
So I was kind of thinking like, where would be like I was like the Dodgers.
No,
like,
he's not going. I don't think so.
Like what would be like a place that would be like I want Nelson Cruz. I thought of the Rangers because I was like it'd be like a homecoming thing. You could finish there. What's a team that could really need him? Braves. I could see like, hey, why don't you come over and DH for us? Because they have a lot of free agents, so there's a lot of shuffling that can happen with them. So I kind of had a lot of I was just kind of throwing out feelers with the NL because I was like I want him to be like the first big DH in the NL.
And the underdog team, I'm not gonna lie to you, Pittsburgh. Why not go
You'd
be a
see
veteran right there, right? Have a good half a year, get traded.
Yeah, go get traded to a contender or whatever. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. You'd probably get paid out there too.
Yeah, or Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's a team he'd go. Yeah, but the NL. I don't know why I'm just feeling like he'll wait and then see what happens to the CBA and then he goes to an NL team. I don't know why.
Some other players. We got Steven Matz. I think this is a quick one. Not really a superstar, but goes to the Mets. He went left, figured it all out. He's going to come back to the Mets. He's from the New York, New Jersey area. Why not go to the Mets? They need pitching. They lost center guard. I think that makes just boom right there. Makes sense.
Yeah, I saw a lot of rumors with that. I think that would make a lot of sense for the Mets if he can pitch like he did with the Blue Jays. But it's a possible landing spot I kind of thought with him was the Red Sox because the Red Sox have a little bit of now they have a hole in a lefty with Eduardo Rodriguez. He's familiar with the AL East now. If I'm not mistaken, he pitched pretty well against the Yankees, and that would be something that the Red Sox would be obviously interested in.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I just kind of was feeling Red Sox.
Yeah,
and he could be, I don't know why he would just be like a hero there. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I can see it for sure. So some other guys here. One big one we haven't really talked about, and I think there's a good reason for it. Freddie Freeman. Do I see him leaving Atlanta? I could see it. I could see him not sneaking out, but like almost just like, okay.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's on another team.
Slowly, like, are you sure you don't want me? But I think he goes back to Atlanta. I think Atlanta just goes, you know what, we got to keep our guy.
Yeah.
They keep him. They just got to be, I think it'd be a shorter deal because they got to watch their money for Albies and Acuna and Soroka and Max Fried. And we can keep going on and on and on. Elson Riley and Dansby Swanson. I think, the money has to go somewhere. But I think he just buys in. I'll take a little less money. Let me stay. Shorter deal. Come on.
Yeah, I think he stays with the Braves. It's probably like 80-20. Like probably 80% chance he stays.
Slow walk out the door until they say, "Oh, here's $1." He's like, "Come in."
Yeah. He'll probably. You don't like to say hometown discount, but I could see him being a guy like that where he takes a little bit less. But I just won a World Series and I've been here all my time, so what the hell? So I think he stays. I think it's pretty locked in.
Yeah. Some other guys here we could probably go through a little quicker. Conforto. I think he goes to Atlanta. They need outfield help. Why not go to Atlanta? Stay in the division. You get to face the same guys you always face. Beat up the Mets a little bit. So I think he stays with Atlanta. I think that's a relatively good deal for both sides.
Yeah, I just think he stays. I don't know why. I just feel like he's not going to go anywhere. It's one of those guys. You know what I mean? I feel like he's just staying.
Yeah.
But Braves make sense.
Yeah.
That definitely makes sense.
Next one, Zach Greinke. He can't go in big markets. I think he already said he doesn't want to be in big markets.
Yeah.
You know where he goes? The White Sox. Rodon leaves. You bring Zach Greinke in. He fits that just weird vibe over there. La Russa's like, we love it. Lance Lynn's there. It's just a weird, like, what is all this?
Yeah.
Keuchel's there. He knows him a little bit. I don't know. I feel like he'd be in the White Sox. I see him in that the black jersey or the pinstripe. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's the AL Central where it all started with the Royals. I don't know. It just kind of feels like I could see that.
That's a really good guess. I didn't have Greinke on here, so I'm just trying to think on the fly. I don't know where the relationship is there with the Astros. Do they get him back? It obviously makes sense for them because then you have Verlander and Greinke back. See him go back to the Royals would be hilarious.
I don't think so.
The White Sox make sense.
I just think it's a smaller market. Essentially, not really because Chicago's big, but it just doesn't.
It's not like New York or LA.
He doesn't want that.
No.
So I think And he did with the Diamondbacks, remember? He was with the Angels already once. I feel like the White Sox, like, let's try this now.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the Giants or something like that, but even they're a little big market. So, yeah, he's kind of weird. It's hard because you don't want to throw him with, like, the Yankees or something because
he's not going there.
His reports,
he'll go to Tampa or something. He'd love that.
Oh, yeah, he'd be a rock star there.
But next guy, Kenley Jensen, stays in L.A. No, he doesn't, though. He goes to the Angels.
Whoa.
Goes to the Angels. Whoa. Why? He's old. I'm staying in LA. I'm gonna go to the Angels because Dodgers window's shutting, Angels window's open. With me with some pitching, I come in that bullpen. Let's go. Play with Mike Trout and Ohtani. I'll be fine.
Yeah, I think he stays with the Dodgers. I think that's pretty much. I like what you said, where it's like he just stays in LA. Like he's just like I'm 30 whatever. I'm like 36. Like I'm done. Yeah. I think he just stays with the Dodgers, though. I just think that's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I just think the Angels might sweep in and be like, here's a little extra money. Come on.
Well, you did have Iglesias going somewhere else, so there you go.
It all goes together.
Yeah.
Try to, at least. Next one, John Gray. Where's he go? Giants. I mean, I know we just seen some other pitching deals, but they lose Goldsman. You get John Gray. The Colorado doesn't really know what the hell they're doing. They didn't want to offer him extension. He wanted to stay there. They didn't give him the qualifying offer. I don't know. They're not even talking to him. It's weird. Why not stay in the NL West? Go to a big ballpark in San Francisco, pitch against the Rockies. But you're already familiar there. Go with the Giants. Why not? Give it a shot.
Yeah. Again, a guy I just didn't have on my list, so I saw some rumors with the Yankees fluttering around. I don't think he goes back with the Rockies because they fucked him around too much.
I love John Gray. I love Carlos Rodon. So those guys go to the Yankees. I mean, that's what I want. But
yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
John Gray loves his beard too, so it goes to the Giants.
Yeah.
It just fits. He's got that weird vibe that the Giants always had. He's weird.
Yeah, I could see that. And they do have some pitching holes, so you could fit it with a guy that's already familiar with the division.
Yeah, Goldsman leaves. John Gray's the same. You're going to take him in like, he's been good at times. Let's see if we could just hone it in and be really good.
Yeah, and just, all of a sudden have a breakout year or whatever.
So it would make sense there. Some other smaller name, not smaller name, but, not like your top. You're not going to see on a bunch of lists about like, oh, there's a top free agent.
Right.
Andrew Chafin, great year. Goes to the Yankees. They need a lefty reliever. Zach Britton mostly down, so why not go to Andrew Chafin for the Yankees? So I think that makes a lot of sense for them.
Yeah, that's kind of where I saw him going, too. And again, I didn't have him on my list, but that's like the first thing I thought of with Andrew Chafin. I was like, he's probably at Yankees like that. Because they're going to need to target at least one guy, like you said, with with Britton being down. So I think that he is a manageable target,
Yeah. This one, come on. Pujols goes to the Cardinals. Why not back up Goldsmith for a while? You can hit against lefties. He's still hit great against lefties. The DH is going to come to the NL. He can DH. He can play back up first. He's just going to be back with Yachty. Yachty's last year. Wainwright's probably going to be his last year. Skip Schumacher's back as a bench coach. Young outfielders, I feel like he could just come back and be like, guys, the young guys, if you didn't already know how to be a Cardinal, this is how to do it.
Yeah, did he say anything about when he wants his last year? Did he give it any?
He said he's ready to go. He still wants to play. He's in the Winter League playing.
Wow.
In Winter League, I think Aaron Hicks is his teammate.
Wow.
Like he's playing. He had a walk-off hit the other day. I seen a video of him celebrating in the locker room. He had some birthday thing going on for somebody. He had like a big hat on, and he was going crazy. He still loves the game.
Yeah,
I feel like he can go there and be Wainwright and Yachty and just he hit like 30 home runs somehow because he just rejuvenized him. I don't know.
And if the DH is in the NL,
why not? Why not get one more shot at it?
Yeah,
the Cardinals, and they're a winning team. They're a contender.
Well, he's not going back to the Angels because he towards the end there he hated that. Dodgers, I feel like they gave him his chance and they're probably just gonna move on. And what other team makes sense? Cardinals. It's to match. It's been made in heaven. So
yeah, I think he loves it. I think he loves that. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be the sweetheart story for baseball for a while. So
agreed.
I'd love to see that. Kyle Seager, the other brother, where's he go? Texas.
Okay. Another guy I really didn't have on my list. I saw some flutterings with the Yankees.
Bring Story in, you bring Seager in. Kyle Seager, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got your left side. It opens up their buddy kind of for Lepre to do whatever he wants. But now you got a righty, you got a lefty. I don't know. The way the ball jumps out of Rangers, the old one at least, with the wind blowing out to right field, why not? Kyle Seager fits right there. I can see him with that jersey on. Maybe fill in for Beltre.
Yeah.
Your first kind of third baseman that fills in for Beltre. You go look at him and go, okay.
Yeah, there's a third baseman. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Otherwise, it's still the ghost of Beltre sitting there. Like, this kind of helps you with that. So I see him, Texas be a pretty good fit for him, actually.
Yeah, I think again, not a guy I really even have thought too much about. I think more chips are going to fall before you see him go.
Sure, for sure.
Um,
He could follow his brother
but
wherever he goes.
yeah, I'll go with that. I'll go with that with the Rangers because I had the story going there too. So like you said, you shore up that side of the infield because Seager may not be the best player in the league, but you know what you're getting out of him, really.
Above average
Yeah.
defensively and offensively, his home runs and 240, but he knows.
Yeah.
He's been on bad teams. He kind of knows
Mm-hmm.
how to do it, and he would love to be on a team to kind of build back up.
Mm-hmm.
So why not?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Next guy, Adolis Garcia, underrated in every aspect of the word. Adolis Garcia, not Adolis Garcia. Sorry, I can't think of his name now. Oswald Garcia.
There you go.
Oswald Garcia, underrated in every term, every word. He's underrated. Where's he go? Houston.
Okay.
Imagine him in the middle of that lineup. You know, he could sneak his way in the middle there. He's protected. He's gonna hit ballpark that deserves offense. I need an outfielder. Fits right in.
Yeah. Again, another guy I haven't really given too much thought of because he is a very underrated player.
Very. And he fits in with the Astros if you really think about it.
Yeah, he does. He could definitely go there. Like I said, with the Angels, trying to maybe shore up an outfield spot with him. There's a lot of spots he could go where you could just use an extra outfielder or shore up like a right fielder or something like that. I think
This would get Yordan kind of out of the outfield.
Right.
Garcia there. I mean, I feel like it makes a lot of sense. You lose Correa, you get him. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Or if the Rangers go in a little bit, maybe the Rangers.
I can see him there for sure.
You got the Garcias on the outfield and
oh my goodness,
and Nelson Cruz DHing and Trevor Story.
Outfield,
sure.
Right?
Oh my God, no. And then you got Trevor Story and Kyle Seager. I mean, then you all of a sudden, whoa, hold on.
Yeah,
Rangers got something
flying around.
Yeah.
So here's another one. Paxton, where does he go? The Yankees go. Here you go. We'll take you. You pitched well for us. You pitched pretty well for us. You went to Seattle, didn't work back, and you got hurt. You went back to your home stomping grounds. Try your next stomping ground. Come back to the Yankees. We need a left-handed pitcher. Come in. Here's 1 year. Come on over. Give it a shot. One more time.
Yeah, he'll probably just get a 1 year. He probably won't even get much because of him not really pitching last season.
1 year and an option because he's probably gonna miss the beginning of the year a little bit.
Yeah.
Yankees take a shot at him though.
Yeah.
Worst case, he's in the bullpen. But I feel like he pitched well with the Yankees, pretty well, especially in the playoffs. We were there for the one game, Game 5. I mean, come on. I think the Yankees, Boone loved him. I really think he did. I think he maybe goes in there. Or, yes, Toronto. He's a pitcher, and he's from Canada, so come on.
Or the Rays get him for nothing, and he's just a Cy Young winner.
No.
That's what the Rays do.
Don't do so, next couple of guys here, Mark Melancon. Really underrated again, and he can go to a big-time team. I think where's he go, though? I think the A's. Surprisingly, I know they're tearing it down, but why? Relievers at the deadline get a lot of prospects. Why not get him and flip him?
Okay. All right.
It just seems like him with the A's jersey on, though, you're like, okay, yep. Why hasn't he been playing here forever? He just fits in. He's that guy. Fits the A's. I don't know why. He does.
You know, it'd be a good place for him to go. That a team that could use just a bullpen guy in general is the Red Sox. I don't know how long it's been since he's been in the AL East, but if you need, because they had Matt Barnes was doing some stuff with them. The first half of the year was really good, and then so their bullpen's all over the place. And if you really
Ottavino's a free agent too.
What's that?
Ottavino's a free agent too. That was a big part of their bullpen.
Yeah, so there you go. So you lose a guy, and say you don't get Ottavino back, you get a Mark Melancon, a little bit older guy,
but great deal for them.
Yeah,
I just don't know. I feel like they're one of the teams that will mix and match in the bullpen.
They seem to just be like, well, we'll figure it out. But it's like, well, if you get one guy, at least you can be like, he's our guy with a Matt Barnes.
Like the A's, they like taking those older relievers and then turn them in for some prospects. So I feel like that fits well.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Next guy, Tommy Pham. Where's he go? I don't know about you, but I've seen this guy, and I close my eyes, he's in a Mets jersey. He just looks like a Mets player, and that'd be a really good player for the Mets.
That's really interesting. That's a really...
Conforto, you put Pham out there, good defender. He plays defense, hits some power, hits stealing spaces. Maybe plays center field. I mean, why not? Why not Mets? It kind of fits. He just looks great in a Mets jersey. The pinstripes, come on.
Yeah. He could fit there. He could fit back with the Padres. Golly, there's a lot of places he could go, but I like that Mets one.
It just feels. I see him like the Mets. He's gonna go there.
Yeah, Conforto leaves. You bring in Tommy Pham, a little bit more of a veteran guy, and
a little bit more all around.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that fits pretty good. So who fits that Toronto hole? Finally, Escobar goes to Toronto.
Eduardo Escobar?
Yep.
Yeah.
Eduardo Escobar fits that Toronto. We missing him kind of. He could play third. He could play second. He could play wherever. I feel like Eduardo Escobar goes there, switch hitter. he'd fit in with Toronto. He's just really good. So I think he'd fit in there.
You know, it would be a good really under the radar move that maybe
If
it's
you say
just
the Red Sox again. I'm gonna
no.
punch you.
But I could see him on the Red Sox. I could just see it. But an under the radar move that would make that what I would like after maybe some trade and some roster shuffling is the Yankees. Go get him and put him at third.
Well, I mean, I love Eduardo Escobar, so you don't gotta tell me, but
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
don't know.
it's really pie in the sky because I really haven't thought about where he's going. But like, could you imagine if they go, okay, we'll trade Urshela, so and so, Voit, and we get Matt Olson, and then you have him at third and whatever.
You also got White Sox. They were all in on last year, so wouldn't be surprised to see him there. But I think Toronto fits the Simeon, fills his shoes a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think Eduardo Escobar is more valuable than a lot of people are thinking here because he had like 30 home runs, 100 RBIs or something
Switch
like that.
Versatile. So,
yeah, I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, some other guys here. Corey Kluber, where's he go? St. Louis. Why not take a roll of dice on him, right? Hey, I'll bring him in. I know we got old starting pitchers. I know they're old, but we're pushing it. We're getting some old guys. We have young talent, some super young talent. Why not bring some old guys in here and be like, okay. The young guys aren't producing, or maybe they don't produce. Maybe they do produce. Imagine you get some of these older pitchers, and then your young guys do produce. You're World Series bound, easy. Write me right in.
Yeah, there could be a good landing spot for the Phillies, Corey Kluber, because then you have a veteran presence, a guy who really, once he found his groove last season, was vintage Kluber.
Yeah,
and you match him with Wheeler, and really what Nola can do sometimes. You got a nice little three-piece there.
Yeah. And I think you can also see him with the Padres.
Yeah.
Or you
Maybe
also could
pitching
see him with Cleveland again.
Back with Cleveland, yeah.
So, but I think the Cardinals would be a good spot for them. I know they're old guys. I know a lot of old guys are like, look at this guy. They're getting 90-year-old players. But why not? Why not? He doesn't have to be anybody. He's be the 5-man over there.
Yeah.
So, it
no
makes sense.
pressure. Yeah.
Next guy, Morcana. He's a giant.
Yeah.
Stays
Bay Area
right in the
guy.
Bay Area.
Yep.
He's a giant.
Yep.
No one's talking about him. Great player.
He's very underrated.
He's a giant. He fits right in with the Giants. Just seems to fits right in.
Yeah, you could get him for nothing, really.
On base percentage guy, could play multiple positions. Why not? I like that. Or Tampa.
It's always a possibility.
Because he's a
Tampa.
ruckus there.
And he'll hit like 40 home runs with them or something like that.
So, yeah. So.
Anyone that goes to Tampa just has just an insane.
Yeah. And the last one, free agent signing wise, Seiya Suzuki. Supposed to be posted this week.
Yeah.
You know where he goes?
Where?
Mets.
He's an outfielder?
Yep.
Okay.
Because you're going to have a DH open over there.
Well, that's true.
Maybe Pete Alonso slides into the DH.
Yeah.
They were smart. Why not get him?
I don't see why not.
Matsui worked for the Yankees. Ohtani worked for the Angels. Why not take a shot if you're the Mets? You go, maybe we dip our toes in there. Maybe strike gold here. So I wouldn't be surprised. I definitely could see the Mets getting another outfielder there and be like, here we go. Give us a shot. Maybe he DHs. Maybe whatever. But I think you lose Conforto, you get two outfielders. I see that.
Yeah, I saw a rumor today with him. I saw someone
Texas
floating.
Is always a big spot for.
Yeah.
Always say every year there's someone posted Texas.
Yeah, I saw the Yankees name getting floating around. There was a team though that was loading up on international money, and I forget who it was that I saw. So I haven't really
Cleveland.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
I don't know. I don't even know who would.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami. Yeah. There's a lot of options there.
Well,
yeah.
So some of them are small teams, but I think the Mets, they want to go big. That's, you don't know.
Yeah, go get
the
big.
Could be flop. It could be really good. Could be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I feel like that's something maybe the Mets. When was the last time they had one?
An international
an international signing like that. I mean, I don't think they've ever really had one.
Not of note, like you said, like a Tanaka or a Matsui or a Ohtani or a Hideo Nomo.
Tanaka up. Wouldn't be surprised to see him back.
Oh my God.
But a team. I'm not gonna say where, but
Yankees, please God.
Some other moves you're gonna look at. There aren't sign related, or free agent signing related. Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, most likely gonna get traded. Dodgers are already looking at both of them already, so there's a trade there. We're looking at Wilson Contreras to get traded. Some places where you can look. I don't want to get into too much where teams can go because you can go anywhere with these. Yankees are already one option. So there's Wilson Contreras get traded. Catcher probably high. This is a good offseason for the Cubs to do that. Because no other catchers are around. We have Kimbrel White Sox picked up his option to trade him. Could be the Phillies. They need bullpen. Could be the Angels. They need bullpen.
Yeah.
Does he go back to Boston?
Makes
Does he
sense.
go to Milwaukee?
He's got to pick a place where he would have to be the closer, you would think, ideally.
Go to Milwaukee. Maybe get rid of Hader. Trade big on him.
Well,
Devin Williams is your setup man still.
You'd get the world for Hader.
Or Hader's just your fire putter outer.
Yeah.
You go use them nuts with Devin Williams, and then
Kimbrel's the guy. Yeah.
You got stuff like that. Does he go to the Dodgers, Phil Jensen? So there's a bunch of places. I don't want to. That's why I didn't want to get too. Dodgers with Jensen wouldn't be bad, actually. Dodgers for Jensen. Gavin Lux goes to the White Sox. They don't want Gavin Lux anymore. It already feels like. He goes to the White Sox to fill second base hole. Kimbrel's your closer.
Yep.
Kind of makes sense, right?
Yep.
What else we have here? Matt Olson goes to the Yankees. Mentioned this a while ago, a couple months ago. This was pretty much my biggest dream here. Matt Olson goes to the Yankees. He is a Yankee.
Yeah.
Defense, great offense, great player. Him at Yankee Stadium would be great. Trade it all away. Trade it all away. I don't care who it is. I do not care who it is. The Yankees need to get Matt Olson. I don't care who it is. I would take Judge for Matt Olson straight up. See you later. Not in my mind. Wouldn't even question it. Wouldn't question it. That's how good Matt Olson is.
Yeah, and having a lefty defensive first baseman on the Yankees would be a nice change of pace.
It gives you that 09 feel as well.
Yeah.
With the Yankees, which they're trying to. I've seen rumors they're trying to kind of be that offseason.
Yeah,
so
they're trying to replicate it. Yeah.
And if you get Matt Olson, what a move.
I think he's a Yankee, and then someone else you could throw in there on the A's too that is going to get traded is Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman, I could see to the Mets.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you lose out on Bryant and even Baez, and you're like, well, we need an infielder now. It's like, well, let's go see what Matt Chapman's. Yeah. What's his asking price?
See Sean Murphy. Sean Manaea. They're getting rid of everybody.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot too because they got a lot of pieces. So those are some guys. I think the A's you can pretty much name almost all their guys could be on the chopping block. So you never know.
Yeah. So, but that's pretty much mine and Mike's here off-season kind of outlook here. Obviously, one piece leads to the next piece. And that's kind of what we have. And I think that not a bunch of the National League does a bunch of moves here. You noticed. Not a bunch of National League teams jumping in on this. But I haven't heard much National League teams doing anything. Cardinals kind of sitting back, maybe looking for some pitching. Brewers not really looking to say anything. Cubs aren't looking to do anything. Pirates, again. Nationals, again. Marlins not really looking to do too much unless they get Castellanos. They're not doing too much.
Yeah.
Mets, obviously, we got them mentioned here. Phillies, we got them mentioned here. Braves, we kind of got them mentioned here.
Yeah, I just think that there were more teams on the bubble in the AL. I mean, the AL East in general was just, they were all right there. Whereas teams like, say, you could have put a team like the Reds as like hey, they're right there, but then they lost Castellanos and they made Wade Miley just walk, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
they're trying to cut salary as well, which is a little bit surprising.
So the teams that were kind of on the bubble might be trending down, so they might be the sellers, so you're not looking at them making signings. So I don't know. That's weird.
And there's other guys, too, that you're going to look at. Ketel Marte could easily get traded.
Oh, my God.
For everything in the world. What a piece for any team. Mets would be unbelievably smart to go get him, but Yankees would be unbelievable. But, yeah, you can see him. You see Votto. They're going to cut salary. Maybe they go, hey, do you want to be here or do you want to go to a contender?
Right,
go to a contender, see you later. So you use a lot of other people, too. But this is all we kind of wanted to bring up because this sets up pretty much your season, and you kind of have an idea where this puts you, when all these pieces kind of fall into place.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places for a lot of players. There's teams that could come out of the woodwork and all of a sudden have a big off season. There's teams that could all of a sudden become sellers. There's teams that just could be completely shifted by next season. So, and that's kind of just modern sports. Teams kind of change year over year. So, we'll see what happens, but that's kind of where our mind's at for the off season. We clearly have some favorited teams to make moves, and then from there, God only knows. Especially with the whole CBA thing, could cause a lot of problems for the free agency. But yeah, that's kind of it. So, just to kind of finish up before we go into our trivia question, I did say that the Hall of Fame stuff did come in. So let's just do a quick rundown of just the first-time guys, because we already kind of know, the guys that are leaving are Barry Bonds and Clemens and them.
Fellas,
so those are guys that, in my opinion, if they haven't made it in already, I mean, that's kind of it. But we'll see. So for first-time guys, though, there's some good names here, but I think a little bit more lax list than we've had in years past. So first and foremost, we have Alex Rodriguez. He's going to be the most hotly debated one. It's going to be like a Barry Bonds. Like, what do you do? He's got 3,000 at 600 home runs, almost 700. So what do you do with him? He's a Hall of Famer if you don't mind the steroid stuff. If you still are gatekeeping about the steroid stuff, he's not in. So I think that's pretty much where everyone stands with him. David Ortiz,
Sure.
I think is pretty much a lock for a first ballot. I think that the voters love him. And I think that a lot of people even consider him the best DH of all time over Edgar Martinez. So I think that he gets in fairly easily.
Yeah, I think he will get in, but I think they should give him the same what they did with Edgar. They messed around with him because he was a DH and all that other crap. Big Papi also, steroid allegations against him. That kind of got swept under the rug. And the issues he's had recently with that shooting, there was some rumors about why that happened too, which were kind of interesting. They didn't even see it get brought up. Do the writers kind of look at that? I don't think so. Some players, they kind of forget about their steroids. I think I kind of Pettit. Giambi, people kind of forgot about their issues. I don't think he's one of them. While some other guys, they never forget. Great player, but defensively, he literally did absolutely nothing for you. Base running did absolutely nothing for you. And they don't like DHs, so there's my input on David Ortiz. Just because I love Edgar.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense how they can, the guy's got an award named after him, but he couldn't get it in the Hall of Fame until his last year, and that's, people almost prying him to get in.
I know, it was amazing.
So, but Big Papi will be in. They love him.
Yeah, that's,
He's a
I
good
think.
player, don't get me wrong. It's just,
Yeah.
Let's be fair to everybody here.
Yeah, right. No, he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to debate that, but I think that he'll be like first bet. He might even be close to unanimous. I'm not even kidding. And then there's Mark Teixeira, who I think is a Hall of Famer, switch hitting, first baseman.
Champion.
Yeah, champion.
Defense, one of the best we've ever seen.
I was just going to say an amazing defender. So.
And I believe he has the most home runs, or tied for the most home runs in the same game, both sides of the plate.
Yeah, he's up there. I remember when he did it, so I know he's up there. I just can't remember if he's solely up there, if he's tied or.
He's tied with like Swisher or something like that.
Yeah, which is funny.
But I think Teixeira should be a Hall of Famer. Switch hitter over 400 home runs.
Yeah, I agree.
What else do you? Come on.
Yeah, you got to give credit to the switch hitters, because there's not many of them that have quite the numbers like him.
No.
Next one, Tim Lincecum. He's not in, but he had some great peak years, especially for the Giants. He won
4 years there. He was dominant, but let's come on.
Yeah, great Giant. Had some success there, but that's Ryan Howard, who really could have been a Hall of Famer. I just don't think he makes it.
I think you might see him late in the ballot on a slow year, or the Hall of Fame kind of opens up a little bit, or maybe a Veterans Committee down the line, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he was just dominant for like 5, 6, 7 years, where you were like, this guy's an animal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, talk about peak years, yeah.
Yeah, my goodness.
Then after him, kind of similar case as Prince Fielder, just career ended too short. And just I don't think he has the numbers, but like you said, maybe a Veterans Committee or something like that, he could fall into that too. Jimmy Rollins, while I think that he may even, I could even see him falling off the ballot because they'll just forget about him. But I think he's a Hall of Famer as a switch hitter. Yeah,
bunch of hits, stolen bases, triples, World Series, MVP. I think he should be a Hall of Famer as a switch hitter again. And at a non-offensive position at his time. Now offensive shortstops seem like they're all good.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't. It was him and Reyes and Jeter, and that was kind of your guys.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I think he should get in. He may not be first ballot, but I think he'll get in.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Jonathan Papelbon, I think should be a Hall of Famer. They need to lighten up on the pitching. I think at this point, they're
Hoffman
really.
Barely got in.
I know
it took him a couple years, and he was the second best reliever of all time.
Yeah. So.
If you're not Mo, you're not in.
Well,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's like the H's. If you're not, Edgar Martinez with the award named after you, you're not in the Hall of Fame. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So I think he should be, based on his numbers, should be a Hall of Famer. Like I said, though, that the committee has to be a little bit easier on the relievers.
I think maybe a late year you might see him, or a Veterans Committee when they really ease up. Some of the older writers kind of fall out of voting, and some of the younger guys come in. Yeah, you're getting into those weird years. No one has the stats. Not no one, but not many people have the stats to compete with some of these other guys.
Sure.
So you got to kind of take that, like, wins. You're never going to have 300 wins. You're not going to have 250, and might not even have 200 after these last few guys.
Right.
So, like, how do you get them in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, where do you gauge? Yeah. Next one, Justin Morneau. just doesn't get in.
No, good player.
Yeah, he's a good player, but
Hall really good.
yeah. So same thing here with Carl Crawford. Put up some good years.
Yeah,
Had an
yeah.
amazing speed.
Some down years when you kind of expect him to still have good years. Red Sox and Dodgers, and off the field issues.
Yeah. So he's not getting in.
No.
Jake Peavy, kind
Oh.
of same thing where it's like, he's just not quite there. But we love
When
Jake.
he came back from his injury was very impressive. Not many people, if any, have ever done the injury he came back with and pitched.
Wasn't
as
that
well.
the shoulder?
Yeah,
thing?
completely redone, like Pineda, I believe. But to be successful, great. He had some couple of real good years too.
Yeah.
Not great Padre teams, but not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I
From
agree.
injuries. I think without injuries, he's really pushing it.
Yeah, but he had a great career. There's nothing really to sneeze at there. But
Great competitor.
yeah, oh my God. Last two here. Second to last one, Joe Nathan. I think that Joe Nathan deserves more looks. But again, they have to be a little bit more relaxed with the relievers.
Yeah.
I think that he had a long career, had a good career, 377 saves. Didn't quite have the ERA that Papelbon did. Didn't have the dominance.
I think Papelbon has a little bit a leg up on him, but Papelbon gets in. Nathan should be right close with him.
Yeah,
but
he's not
if you're
far
gonna let
off.
one in, you don't let either on there.
Right, yeah. So, again, they just have to ease up on the relievers and just pitching in general. But the last one here, A.J. Brzezinski,
I love him.
doesn't get in. He actually might be someone that might fall off the ballot.
Yeah, yep. I think he had, as a catcher, he's got really, really good stats. I think he needed a little bit more. A little bit more hits, and over to 200 home runs as a catcher. And I think, with a World Series and some stuff, he had a good career.
Yeah.
As a catcher.
As
a catcher, you go, well, you know what, he was pretty good. But a competitor, oh my God, he got punched in the face in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
But again, if you're having like a Hall of Fame of catchers, maybe.
Yeah,
he sneaks his way in there. But
yeah, you could think about him for sure.
But this guy's like Ray Schalk out there, so
that's
anybody
true.
can get in, right?
That's very true. But that's your first year Hall of Famers coming up, and that there's some good names on there. But I'd say a little bit lesser year. You've got Ortiz as a lock, and A-Rod, if you go purely stats as a lock, but with the steroid thing. So, but you got some names there for sure.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame is always an exciting time, and raucous sometimes. But our last bit here, before we get into our farewells, our trivia question, and it goes with we've seen Harper win the MVP and stuff like that. Harper becoming I think sixth player to have MVP on two different teams. So the trivia question: who was the first player to win MVP on two different teams? And the answer to that is Jimmy Fox. In 1932 and 33, he won the MVP with the A's. And in 1938, he won the MVP with the Red Sox. So he was the first one to do it, which is pretty surprising. That was pre-free agency as well. So it took a trade of a guy who still had talent to win MVP. So it's kind of surprising.
Yeah. I wonder what they got.
So I suit like Cy Young, So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a trivia question. Who was the first player to win MVP on two different teams? Jimmy Fox with the A's in 32 and 33, and the Red Sox in 1938.
Yeah, that was shortly after. For people that maybe don't know or are not as familiar with the early stages of the game, you couldn't win MVP more than once. It was kind of like you won it, and it's like, okay, you got your MVP, and they would consider other people. So that's why you don't see guys like back then having like 7, like Barry Bonds did, because you were.
He had to have like 10 of them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you were kind of locked to your one, and that was around the time they got rid of that rule. So that's why he probably is the first, because he was really good back then.
Sure was.
But no, that's people forget about Jimmy Fox. He was an outstanding player. So a high average
guy too.
Yeah,
brute.
Yeah, big country guy probably.
But
so it's a good trivia question as always.
Yeah, then that's pretty much all we got here. I think our follow up or lasting words here. We have Thanksgiving this week.
Yep.
So that's always been my favorite holiday. So I like to enjoy that, watch some football, and enjoy the food that you don't get all the time, and the company and family and stuff like that. So that should be a good time. So
Sure.
enjoy your Thanksgiving and have a good time and throw the football around or whatever you got to do. Supposed to be pretty nice weather too, in our area at least. So that's pretty much all I got. Last word there is Thanksgiving coming, so excited.
Yeah, it was a good 2021 season. We're going to go into our off season now. So everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving. We are going to be off next week, and then we're going to start the week after that. And from there until towards the beginning, about February, like spring training time, we will start going back to every week. But until then, we'll go every other week, and we're going to do, last year we did top players at each position. This year we're going to do top franchise teams. So we'll pick all the best at each position, best Yankee and best Oriole and blah, blah, blah. So we'll do the AL East first.
Kind of like your diamond, who was your best right fielder, Oriole history, who was your best this, stuff like that, and kind of give your franchise bests. Really dives deeper into some guys you might not think about too much on some of the smaller teams.
Yeah, especially the teams that are a little newer.
And then you got some of the older teams like the Yankees, who's your Mount Rushmore kind of thing. It's like, wow, who you're leaving off.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know.
It should be exciting, and it should, it's always great to talk about the history of the game because there's nothing better.
Sure. Yeah, so that's where we'll be doing for the next few months. We'll have about 6 episodes there, and then we'll go into our predictions. So, like Frank said, have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy. We're going to be off next week, and then we got Christmas coming, so everyone stay safe, and it was a good season, good 2021 season. We'll see what happens the off season, and God willing, there's no problem with the CBA. So that's all I have to leave off with is let's hope the CBA doesn't cause a freaking problem. So
big ruckus. We'll see, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's kind of all I got. So if that's all you got, then let's just wrap it up and
that's it.
Finish her off. All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. You can catch this podcast on Apple Podcasts as well as Google Podcasts and Spotify. You can listen on our regularly updated YouTube channel as well as our website, screwball.podbean.com. You can follow me on Twitter at RealMikeLepre. You can follow me on Instagram at Mike Lepre.
And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at FDubs10.
You can follow our official Screwball Twitter at ScrewballPod. You can follow our official Screwball Facebook at ScrewballPod. No E in Screw. And that's it from us, guys. We'll see you next week.
Yep. Take care.